Cedar Point is a major amusement park located in Sandusky, Ohio, USA. This park is considered by many as the roller coaster capital of the world. Located on a peninsula in Lake Erie, this park is home to 17 different roller coasters and over 70 attractions. Today I'll be ranking all of the roller coasters in the park based on my most recent trip back to the park in August. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 17 is going to be Wilderness Run. This Intamin family coaster has a 19-foot first hill, reaches top speeds of 6 miles per hour, and you do need a child to ride this one. You start off the ride with this little turn here, and then you drop down to your first aggressive airtime hill. You dip down, and you pop up in your second airtime moment, and you basically turn back around into the station. They sent me around twice, so I don't know if they regularly do this, or if this was just the ride-ups. Coming in at number 16 is going to be Woodstock Express. This is the only Vekoma coaster in the park, and it's actually a pretty good family coaster. You start off with a max height of 38 feet, go up to speeds of 25 miles per hour, and you have a 1 minute 10-second duration. You can ride this one without a kid, and is located in the Camp Snoopy section of the park. This is a good step-up ride for when kids are ready to take it up a notch from Wilderness Run, but aren't ready for some of the bigger coasters yet. Coming in at number 15 is going to be Cedar Creek Mine Ride. This is a really classic Aero mine train, and it is a super long ride. It's only 2,540 feet in track length, but it almost has a 3-minute duration. It has a max height of 40 feet and has a top speed of 40 miles per hour. It was personally a little too rough for me, but I was able to get past that to enjoy the amazing views of all the surrounding coasters and the lake that it comes over top of. I do enjoy this ride, but I much prefer some of the other and more thrilling rides in this great amusement park. Coming in at number 14 is going to be Corkscrew. This is a classic custom aero looper, and it was the first coaster to go upside down 3 times. It starts off with a 65-foot drop at 45 degrees, has a top speed of 48 miles per hour, and has 2,050 feet of track. So this first vertical loop here is okay. It's not terrible, whatever. This airtime hill is kind of pointless because you don't get any airtime, but you go through this little turnaround, nice through this midway here, and then this is the worst part of the ride. Ow, ow, head banging, ow, it hurts. Yeah, then you just meander around into the brake runs, and that's pretty much the ride. So yeah, I think it's pretty pointless, but it is very iconic in Cedar Point history, so I think it deserves its spot there. Coming in at number 13 is going to be Iron Dragon. So this is a really tame family aero suspended coaster. It's honestly pretty boring, but that's okay. It's not meant to be a high thrill coaster. There is no headbanging, which is really nice, and this coaster definitely has its spot in the lineup. It's a bit more intense than something like Cedar Creek Mine Ride, but it's like just before Gemini would be in the lineup. But yeah, it's 76 feet tall, 2,800 feet long, and its max speeds of 40 miles per hour, and it does a really scenic ride how it twists and turns through all the trees. So they used to have these really cool mist effects, which you dive right down into on the lake, but they sadly do not have those anymore. These are so cool. I wish I got to experience them. But yeah, those look like an awesome part to this pretty awesome ride overall. Coming in at number 12 is going to be Rougarou, the B&M floorless conversion of the former B&M stand-up Mantis. The conversion was done in 2015. So you go through this little turn, you get actually a little bit of airtime here, and then you head down your first drop of a 137 feet, where you go through a trim brake on the drop and meet your max speed of 60 miles per hour. This ride is generally pretty smooth, but by default, you do have the B&M classic over-the-shoulder restraints, which are really uncomfortable in this and do give a little bit of headbanging, which can be super annoying, and it personally ruins the ride for me. I wish this had vest restraints, but I get it because the weight would be too heavy, but it's okay. So this is where you get most of your headbanging on the ride. You head through your mid-course, and then you go right through these brutal corkscrew right here. And then that's pretty much the worst part of the ride. The rest of the ride's okay. It just sort of meanders around after this, but there's some really cool elements on this ride, and I found it pretty fun. And coming in at number 11 is going to be Wicked Twister. This is just a big, fun launch shuttle coaster. You reach a max height of 215 feet on one of those spikes, max launch of 72 miles per hour, and it only does have a 40-second duration. So my main complaint of this ride is the capacity. It is a capacity nightmare. Since it only can run one train on the track at a time, it would be ideal if it did have a switch track so that you could basically load another train while one train is on the course, but this ride's fairly old, so they don't have that. You only do reach the max height on each spike once, which is pretty sad. I wish it did reach one more, but again, the capacity nightmare, I get why that's not possible. So it's just basically a really fun ride overall with a really amazing setting on the beach. Just cracking the top 10 is going to be Valravn, the aka not as good a dive coaster as Yukon Striker. This is a really beautiful coaster. It looks amazing from the midway and has this incredible view as you look over. It has a first drop of 223 feet, and at the bottom is where you reach your max speed of 75 miles per hour, 3,415 feet of track, and it does go through 3 inversions. So it is really smooth, but these vest restraints are just brutal. They absolutely demolish your chest. I was like suffocating on the brake run. But yeah, so that is the main flaw to this ride, but the second drop is much better than Yukon's, and I do like how they have a second dive loop instead of a second Immelman here. And after this, you're going to head into easily the best part of the ride. This 0G or 270 degree roll, whatever you want to call it, is just amazing. You get so much hang time. Then you just meander through your airtime-less hill, and yeah, that's pretty much the ride. So coming in at number 9 is going to be my favorite Woody of all time, Blue Streak. So you start off with your 72-foot tall drop and hit your max speed of 40 miles per hour, and you get a ton of airtime on this thing. If you are not stable, you'll be flying out of your seat throughout this 2,558-foot long course, and you will just be getting ridiculous amounts of airtime. It has good pacing, and it's just a super fun ride overall. Coming in at number 8 is going to be the original hypercoaster, Magnum XL-200. So you start off by climbing up your 205-foot tall lift, plummeting down your 194-foot drop at 72 miles per hour, and you head up into your first airtime hill, which is a really beautiful view, but it's honestly a letdown hill. You don't feel much forces there. Then you dive down into your first tunnel, which is pretty cool. Then you pop up to the second airtime hill, which is actually a lot better than the first. The sad part right here is before you head into this really cool turnaround, there is trim brakes, so that really slows you down for the rest of the ride. But I do like how they added this turnaround instead of the classical hammerhead turns on B&M Hypers. You head up into your next tunnel, which is pretty cool. And this last section is definitely the best part of the ride. You have tons of consecutive ejector airtime hills that you just fly right through. and then you pop through your last tunnel, and this is really cool because there's these new sound effects and these new for 2019 lights, which are really awesome. Coming in at number 7 is going to be the classic aerodynamics racing coaster Gemini. You start off with a 118-foot drop at 60 miles per hour and almost feel like your head's going to get chopped off. This ride is ridiculously smooth, and I think it is easily one of the smoothest rides in the park. There's zero rattle. Even the back row, you're just flying out of your seat if you're not stapled. It is just great. So here you pop up into your second airtime moment, first being the drop. You get some amazing airtime on this coaster, and this is easily one of the most underrated coasters I've ever been on. You get such great forces, especially on the helix at the end. So much airtime, so many head choppers. It's so smooth, and it's so fun when the coasters are racing because everyone's just like sticking their hands out when they're crossing, trying to get high fives. I don't recommend you do that because you could chop off your hand, but it's okay. There is a lot of trims on the ride, which I do not like, but it is just such an amazing ride overall, and it's so underrated, and I think it deserves way more attention. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the beautiful B&M wing coaster Gatekeeper. You start off with a 164-foot wing over drop at 67 miles per hour, which is epic, especially in the front row when you're just hanging over there. Then you're going to get your picture taken right here and hop up into the first airtime Liss Hill, because these vests are clinging onto you so damn hard that you will not be able to breathe by the end of this ride. Yeah, that's where the worst part is. That corkscrew kind of hurts you. These keyholes are absolutely amazing. Right by the front gate, you feel like you're going to get your head chopped off. And yeah, so that's our half point on the ride. We turn around here. Then we head through 2 more corkscrews. Or it's actually 1 more corkscrew. My bad. And you hop back around. And that's pretty much the ride. The thrilling part of the ride, at least. You get a really beautiful scenic ending here. Mid-course was turned off. Hop around through the helix. It looks really nice, but it is pretty pointless ending, just like Yukon Striker, so I was used to it. Another little airtime Liss Hill, and that's your ride on Gatekeeper. Coming in at number 5, the B&M invert at the park, Raptor. So you're going to start off with your 119-foot tall drop, reaching your max speed of 57 miles per hour. This is a really, really intense coaster. It has some really whippy elements. You really do feel the speed. I still do prefer Montu, but this corkscrew in the back row is insane. You're just getting whipped over. Some straight track. Great pictures right there. Go through your first Cobra roll, and only Cobra roll. Dive down, do a little sort of helixy element here, and pop right into your mid-course brake run, which is off at night, but it was on most of my day rides, which does really slow down the ride. Plummet down your second drop, which is pretty fun. And you're going to do a little corkscrew here, which is insane in the back row. Do a little turnaround. Hop into your next corkscrew, which is ridiculously intense in the back row as well. And then you're going to head into this double spiraling downwards helix, which is crazy, crazy intense. And you're going to complete your last turnaround and slam into the brake run. This transition to the brake run is just crazy, and it hurts your head actually a lot. At number 4 is going to be the first Stratocoaster ever, Top Thrill Dragster. This thing is ridiculous. It is crazy. It is so intimidating. It is super iconic. It is just a masterpiece. The only reason it's not higher on my list is because of its 17-second duration. I wish they could have added like a little airtime hill than a helix, sort of like Accelerator. That would have made it like the best coaster in the world. The colors, the bleachers, the lights, the setting, everything just really pulls it together to make a really, really nice racing theme. So you come back a smid, the lights go down, and you're off. 120 miles per hour, around 200 feet straight, and then 420 feet straight up in the air. Grab some airtime on this top hat, get an amazing view, and spiral straight back down 90 degrees. And that's it. That's the whole ride. You just lose your breath. You're just like, what in the world just happened? That was amazing. Coming in at number 3, a force like no other, Millennium Force, the original Giga Coaster, new for Cedar Point in 2000. So you start off with a breathtaking 300-foot tall drop. That is just incredible, and you go through this ridiculously forceful turn. Like, this whole ride is generally pretty forceless, but you do feel the speed everywhere. You don't get a lot of airtime on this hill, some nice floater, maybe some flow ejector on some rides if it's running better. But yeah, this ride's generally forceless, but that first overbank is insanely forceful. I usually gray out on that. You head around, you meander around the track through some overbank turns. This element is so overused. This ride is just overbank, overbank, overbank. There's only 4 airtime moments, so I do wish there was some more. That would be nice. Head around a turn into your second last airtime moment. This hill is generally a little bit better, but not as good as I wish it was. Turn around here, this is where your camera's going to be, and then you pop up into the best airtime moment on the ride, fly right past the queue. This is where all the GPs in line get intimidated. You hop around your final overbank right over the queue, and then hit your brakes. So overall, just a really amazing ride. The rattle is there, but it's not super noticeable, but I love this ride so much, and it's just amazing. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Maverick, the Intamin Blitz coaster. So you're going to start with a really unique launched lift hill up 105 feet, and then you're going to take a 95-degree beyond vertical drop down. Just crazy intense, a really great moment on the ride, straight into your first rapid transition through the amazing rock work. And these are some like I-305 style transitions here. Pop up into your first ejector airtime hill, which is absolutely nuts. It kills your thighs. Then you pop into your first corkscrew or whatever this inversion is, I don't even know. You just get whipped around in the back on this ride. My favorite road's back. You get whipped over that drop, you get whipped through the stuff, and you just meander around into this little shed, where in this POV you fully come to a stop, but when I experienced it, I did not any time. This POV doesn't do it any justice at all. You launch 0 to 70 in a couple seconds here and bank left, right out. It's just nuts. You go down the drop, down this little drop here, through your nice splash, and you do another little rapid transition. You pop up into your Stangle dive, which is nuts. Just you get whipped around. And this one's even crazier. You overbank, pop up into an ejector speed hill here, and then you fly right around into the brake run. So this ride is just nuts overall. The restraints do kind of hurt you. They kind of suck, but I just absolutely love this thing. It is amazing. Coming in at number 1, the king of Frontier Town, Steel Vengeance. You know this ride's going to be nuts when you're flying out of your seat before you even hit the lift hill. And by the way, this isn't just any lift hill. This is the most obnoxious lift hill ever. So you start off by climbing your 205-foot tall lift hill, which on one side has a really nice view of the lake. And then you plummet down this insane drop. You feel like you're falling forever. Hit 74 miles per hour. Get an airtime hill at top speed. Head into this pretty amazing airtime hill, but this is easily the best airtime moment on the ride. This outer bank turn, straight looking over the plaza, that is ridiculous. Your picture gets snapped there. Airtime. This inversion is crazy in the back row. You just get whipped around. You do some nice turns here. This thing, I don't even know what it is. It's just nuts. You just hang over and then twist the opposite direction. Airtime hill after airtime hill. You fly into the mid-course brake run, which is off at night, but is mostly on during the day. Second drop. This does not do it justice, because this is at a track view. Imagine you're 10 feet up higher than this, or even 6 feet, and you just feel like you're getting head chopped at every one of these things in the structure. You're just getting flying around. It's crazy intense. Corkscrew, airtime hill, back into the structure, more head choppers. This is one of the most memorable parts of the ride for me. I don't know why, but this inversion right here, the last one, you keep turning around in the structure. Then we hit the finale of the ride. 1 airtime hill, 2 airtime hill, 3 airtime hill, 4 airtime hill, 5 airtime hill, and 6 airtime hills into the brake run. It is just nuts. An insanely long 5,740 feet of track. And yeah, this ride is easily my number 1. It's just ridiculous. I love it so much. It is phenomenal. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for your friends to enjoy. And if you're ever headed to Cedar Point, comment down below. Comment down below what your list is, what you like, what you dislike about this one. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.